PR Connections Radio presents. This episode of We Have the Power is brought to you by Classy Communications PR and Advertising. Classy Communications provides public relations and marketing solutions for businesses, professionals, and nonprofit organizations. It can deliver the true meaning of your business with press releases, social media marketing, web development, email marketing, book publishing, and much more. Wherever your potential clients are, they can help you connect with them. Visit classycommunications.net to learn more about their suite of services that can help your business stand out from the rest. Classy Communications is your solution for business success.
Well, welcome to We Have the Power. We go live every Thursday at 5 o'clock, always working to make sure that we have the power over our freedom and liberties. I'm so excited about the guest today who will be coming up right after this important message. This issue we'll be talking about today is something I'm very passionate about, something you should be passionate about, and you will learn everything about this issue and what's coming up in the elections right after this important message. I'll be right back. If you have the proper tool, usually things just go better. And one of the best tools in keeping our young people away from drugs and alcohol abuse are the booklets from the Drug-Free World Truth About Drugs organization. Now, they have a series of booklets. Certainly, this is a drug that is out there, marijuana, and also they have it in Spanish. These booklets are free. You just go to drugfreeworld.org and you can obtain these booklets and share them with your family members, your friends. And this is a way to make sure they have the proper information, because these booklets do not say, don't take these drugs. They say this will happen to you if you do. And there's also a compilation booklet that has a series of different topics in there. One is alcohol, one is ecstasy, cocaine, crystal meth. We know that inhalants can be abused, heroin, LSD, and even prescription drugs can be abused. So use the right tool, get these free booklets from Drug-Free World, and avail yourself and your family members, especially young people that you know and are in your family, of these booklets, so that we protect our young people and our loved ones from ever getting involved with drugs or alcohol abuse. Hi, I'm your host, Brian Gardner. I like to say after that infomercial, we cannot have a country that maintains freedom and liberties with people, large numbers of our public and citizens, abusing alcohol or taking drugs. The key to freedom is to make sure our young people know how dangerous those substances are and they stay away from them. Now, I talked about on the intro, the teaser, that I'm very excited about the guest today. I have with me Melissa Clement, who is the executive director of the Nevada Right to Life. Melissa, I am so excited to have you on the show today. This is an issue that I'm very passionate about, and I want to have you talk about specifically question 6, which is coming up in the elections in November. And I guess we should start and let our viewers know, is abortion legal in Nevada?
Well, that's a great place to start, Brian, and thank you for having me on today.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Unfortunately, because I'm extremely pro-life and I've got such a passion for the preborn baby, but in Nevada, abortion is legal for any reason or no reason. It must be done by a doctor, but it's legal all the way up to 6 months of pregnancy. And additionally, in those cases where a mother's life or health is at risk, she can still get an abortion. It just has to be done by a licensed doctor, and it must be in a hospital. So we have very, very liberal laws in Nevada. In fact, we're like the 38th most pro-life. So we're a very pro-choice, pro-abortion state. So it's legal.
Yeah, before you go any further, how formed is a baby at 6 months? Could it be born early and live, or would it die?
No, with a little extra help, definitely, I think the earliest baby that they've saved was at 21 weeks. So at 24 weeks, absolutely. And there's a lot of people we know, you and I know, walking around today that were born at 22, 23, and 24 weeks.
Okay.
You know, in
So
addition, not
I
only is it legal,
yeah,
not only is it legal, but it can't be changed by the governor, by a legislature. That law can't be changed because it was voted on back in 1990 in a referendum. So the only way we can change that abortion law is by a vote of the people.
okay. So two things I want to say very early on. Number one, we are legalizing murder because you just told me that a baby at 6 months could live outside the womb with proper care. That's number one. Number two, I am sick and tired of women saying, you can't tell me what to do with my body. And I don't know any law on the books that says you can't change your hair. You can't have enhancements or reductions to that part of her body. You know what I'm talking about. You can't change your hair color, have a facelift. Those are all parts of their body. They are confusing the issue on purpose. The baby inside a woman is not part of her body. If she is pregnant, they are a vessel for a life. It has all the rights. And so I do not believe that we should be condoning this kind of thing. And especially as we get into question 6, we'll see just how terrible this has become.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, it's the most pressing human rights issue that our country faces right now, because it is the conflict of two humans. Yeah. And so, yeah, you know, the whole abortion is very upsetting because it's a very personal issue for just about everybody. But sadly, we really can't even talk about the morality or whether it's right or wrong right now, because that's not what's on the ballot.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So now, what's coming up from what you told me in our pre-interview when I first met you? Question 6 to me is just absolutely, you know, they talk about various people being like Hitler or something. I can't imagine anything closer than what you're going to tell us about question 6 that blocks the parent from knowledge. So I'm going to let you tell us what question 6 is, because I feel I want this show to educate the people about question 6, because in my viewpoint and yours and a lot of other people, it must not be allowed to pass. So please educate us on what question 6 is all about.
Absolutely. You know, I want to take a couple steps back, though, and start with something really important. You know, I think it's important to start with definitions. Yes. What is abortion? Yeah, abortion is the willful destruction of a living preborn baby in her mother's womb. Right. Abortion isn't miscarriage care. It isn't a miscarriage. It isn't ectopic pregnancy treatment. It is the willful destruction of a living preborn baby in her mother's womb. So, as I said, abortion is already legal in Nevada. Right. And I believe you definitely agree with me that abortion up to 6 months for any reason or no reason, with no limits, that's a little bit much, but it's not enough for the progressives and Planned Parenthood and a lot of Democrats on the ballot. Right. Because what they want to do is eliminate that bright line of 24 weeks. Right. And they want to just make it a very vague definition so that it actually becomes abortion will be legal all the way up to birth for any reason or no reason. What's more, they're eliminating the doctor requirement. Right. And so it can be any what they allow instead of a doctor is a healthcare practitioner, which in law, let me tell you what a licensed what a practitioner of healthcare is. It's a dentist, licensed nurse, dispensing optician, registered physical therapist, doctor of Oriental medicine, These are just the highlights. Or other person whose principal occupation is the provision of services for health.
Now,
So basically,
let me ask you a
yeah,
question before you go further, because I think everybody else will have the same confusion. Are
mhm.
you saying that that list of people can perform the abortion, or do they check the woman and say an abortion's okay? How
No,
can
they perform.
a dentist give an abortion? Come on.
Absolutely. Well, and what this tells me is that the people who wrote this, which is Planned Parenthood, Nevadans for Reproductive Freedom, Nicole Cannizzaro, they don't care about women. They don't care about women at all because this is dangerous for women. Absolutely dangerous. And this is what's going to be on the ballot. This is question 6. And so I'm going to say it a million times tonight.
Sure.
We all have to vote no on question 6, and we've got to start talking about it with our neighbors and all that. Yes.
In my best funny voice, because they'll remember this. A vote no on question 6. Thank you.
Exactly.
I'm serious
Exactly.
about it.
So that's absolutely. So that's the first problem, is getting rid of. Well, the first problem is all 9 months of pregnancy.
Right.
And so we're talking about babies that feel pain, babies that could survive outside the womb.
Yeah.
And then add to that, no doctor required.
And this is all part of question 6, right?
This is all part of question 6, which is
I haven't gotten to the thing that I
that is going to make you scream. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, hey, look, don't raise my blood pressure anymore, okay?
Exactly. And what's bad about this is we are voting to amend the Constitution of Nevada.
Right. Yeah.
Which makes it almost impossible to fix it if we make this mistake.
Right.
And so when you amend a constitution, it eliminates laws that are currently in place. Laws like the doctor requirement, laws like parental notification.
That's the one that sticks in my craw.
Absolutely. And what's more, the way they wrote this amendment is so sloppy that they actually wrote it so that the state and its local subdivisions will not be able to regulate or even inspect the clinics that will be doing this.
Wonderful.
And so again, I mean, these people just do not, they hate women, obviously, because we don't deserve doctors. And my nail salon will be more regulated than the abortion clinic down the street.
You know, there's something else that may be off to the side a little bit, but I have seen the psychotic minions of these people who work behind the scenes, and they have openly said, well, I think that the population of Earth should be about 300,000. Okay, they have said this openly. This is not a conspiracy theory. They have gone on camera and said, well, it would be better if we, well, how are you going to do that? Bad food, bad air, abortions with no regulations, and every other way to possibly remove people from this world, only because these people who are pushing for this are so insane that they feel that if there's more people, their crimes are going to get found out, or too much freedom isn't good for everybody, or some ridiculous rebuttal. And that is where part of this comes from. And no one can criticize me for this and say, oh, you just made that up. Oh, no, they have said this openly already. And when you're putting a puzzle together, when you're doing a basket of flowers and the sunset, when you find flowers, you put those pieces in that area. Well, guess what? Abortion fits in beautifully with their plans at population reduction. You can't argue that point when they've spoken openly, because abortion does not allow for more people. It reduces the population. So that's something else to consider. We don't want to give more power to these kind of people.
Absolutely. You're exactly right. So I kind of touched on it. We've kind of danced around it, but let's talk about parental notification.
Yeah, that's important because that's what got me very interested in
Absolutely.
being able to have you on the show and have you as a guest, because I look at the parents are in charge of their kids and should be, and anything that gets in the way of that, is not a good thing, because the parents should have the ultimate responsibility, as long as the parents are sane, of course. If the parents are saying, I'm not going to feed my kid because food is bad, well, all right, you need to step in. That's a whole different issue, So continue with this part of the number 6 that you must vote against. Okay, go ahead.
Vote no on 6. Yeah, and this is quite honestly the issue that got me into this years ago, because I found out that little girls could get abortions without their parents knowing.
Hold on
let alone consenting.
Define little girls. We must define this. This is scary.
Okay, if you're old enough to get pregnant, which can be as young as 8 years old.
Really?
You're old enough to get an abortion in Nevada after question 6 passes.
And the parents
without your parents knowing. Right. Let alone consenting. Now, here's an example. When my kids were in grade school and they would do, a big outdoor thing, I would have to sign a consent form for them to have sunscreen put on them, or to put it on themselves.
Yeah.
In the state of Nevada, no child under 18 can lay in a sun tanning bed. That is law. You can't.
Okay.
You have to be 18 years old to get a tattoo unless you get written consent from your parents. And my kid can't get Tylenol at high school without my consent.
Right.
Yet my daughter could be taken to an abortion clinic and be given an abortion without me knowing. And I wouldn't know that I need to watch her to make sure that she's okay.
Right.
I wouldn't know that she may be dealing with some emotional issues.
Right.
I will know nothing. And in fact, Brian, one of the saddest things that ever happened, I got a phone call at the office one time, and it was a dad in tears. And he said, who do I sue? My daughter started acting strangely. She started getting bad grades. She dropped off the volleyball team, and we thought she was on drugs. So we opened up her diary and started reading it. She'd gotten an abortion and nobody told us.
Right.
And he said, I'm not sure what I would have said if I would have said, yes, that's a good idea, or no, that's a bad idea.
Right.
But at least I would have been there.
Right.
And this man was in tears.
Yeah,
and that's the reality of what we're talking about. And so what I was talking about was a surgical abortion, but I've got something even scarier.
Hold that thought a second. There's something important I want to say here. I've done a lot of shows on communication. And let me tell you, this is just as much as a natural law as gravity. If a parent and a kid, a child, their child, have things either one has done that they don't know about, it's something that's being withheld. And eventually you get enough of those. This is what comes up between the parent and the child. It is a block to communication.
Yes.
Because every time the child comes in for breakfast who got an abortion without you knowing, not you, but the parent knowing.
Right.
Then they're going, well, I wonder if they found out, all this mental thing. And then when the father says, how are you doing? I'm fine. I got to go. They don't want to be around because they think it's going to get all this. It's like throwing pieces of metal into a fine working machine, the family. And now you've gummed it up, you've broken it down, and the things that are being withheld ruin communication between the parent and the child.
That's exactly right. And, I have another story where a very close friend of mine, who's at the time was in her 70s. We were working on this issue a couple years ago, and she sent me a message saying, my daughter was perfect in every way. And then one day she wasn't. And she went through decades of alcohol, drug abuse, broken relationships with men, all kinds of things like that. And she said, we didn't know until she was in her 40s that she'd had an abortion when she was in high school. And had we known, this family was very, very, very pro-life. She said, had we known, we would have surrounded her with love.
Yeah.
We would have done we would have moved heaven and earth to try and help her decide to make the choice to carry the baby. But if she didn't, they would have been around her to help pick up the pieces.
Right.
And because of that very silence that you're talking about, that poor woman drowned in emotion that she couldn't share with anybody else. And the only thing she could do was drink herself and drug herself just beyond oblivion. And that's sadly it's not an uncommon story.
Really. Especially further down the line, the more sentient the baby is, and the mother, a young mother like that, knows it. I mean, if there's some ants in my sink, I try not to splash water on them and have them go into the garbage disposal. If I find a cricket before my beautiful Maine Coon can play with it till it's dead, I'll catch it in a cup and just throw it outside, or a spider or whatever. I don't step on these things because I'm bigger than them if I can avoid it. But imagine a young person who is still developing their values and they have an abortion and somebody's not careful. And, as the baby's taken away, somehow they see a formed body and they know that they were part of the team that killed this formed body. No wonder that she was trying to use alcohol and drugs to distance herself from how much guilt she might have been carrying, Well,
and that's, that brings me to my next point. That RU486, the abortion pill.
Can you explain what that does? That actually causes the body to reject the baby. I don't know how that pill works.
Sure thing. And first of all, don't confuse it with emergency contraception or Plan B. Those are different things. We're not talking about those. RU486, or the abortion pill regimen, is a 2-pill process. A woman takes the first pill and it starves the baby in utero. 48 to 72 hours later, she takes a second pill, often at home. And that pill puts her into labor, which is a very painful thing. Having done it 3 times, labor is very painful. And just because it's an early abortion doesn't mean it's less painful. Puts that woman into labor and she delivers a dead baby.
Because the baby has been starved, that's why it died inside of her.
Right. Yeah. Right. And then plus the second pill, regardless of whether that baby is alive or dead, is going to deliver that baby. Wow. So when it was first approved back in 1990, it was only to go to 8 weeks.
Yeah.
But subsequent Democrat presidents and Congresses, and then most recently President Biden, have liberalized that. So now these pills, women are taking them well into their pregnancy because they're not being overseen by a doctor, this is what question 6 will do. No doctor required. Right. So a woman will get this 2-step regimen. And like I said, it puts her into labor and there's tremendous amount of blood and it's very painful. And she delivers a dead baby, usually in her toilet. But imagine,
hold on. This is important. Are you saying when she takes the second pill, she doesn't have to report to a doctor immediately, to a hospital?
It used to be that was the case, Brian, but these Democrats really care about women and care about our health, so they took off all of those requirements, and so she's often alone. She's often scared, and the person who gives her that pill will say things like, it'll be like bad cramps, and there might be some bleeding. And if you have a lot of bleeding and you feel like you should go to the doctor, you go to the ER, but don't tell them you took the abortion pill. Tell them you're having a miscarriage.
Oh boy.
And so there was a case in Las Vegas. Yeah.
Another miscommunication, lied to them. Yeah.
Lied to them. Exactly. And these lies kill women. These lies harm women. There was a woman from Pahrump who got that advice and then went to an urgent care in Las Vegas and didn't tell them what was going on. So they sent her home. Because of not telling them that it was an abortion pill regimen, he passed away of sepsis in that hospital. And it was at the, in my opinion, at the hands of the doctor, which was probably Planned Parenthood, that gave her these pills and didn't walk her through it, at least.
Yeah, because they misdiagnosed her, right?
Right. Yes. They didn't know that they needed to look for sepsis. They didn't know, it used to be you would have to have an ultrasound before you got the first pill to make sure that it was not going to be an ectopic pregnancy.
What is an ultrasound? What is an ectopic?
Ectopic pregnancy is when the baby starts to grow inside the fallopian tube instead of the uterus.
Okay.
And this is a dangerous thing to happen because if that baby is not removed from the fallopian tube, it grows so big and bursts the fallopian tube, and a woman can bleed out.
Could a woman die from that?
Absolutely, and especially if she presents at a hospital and says, "I'm having a miscarriage."
Yeah, right. False.
Right. Exactly. And then you were supposed to have an ultrasound at the end to make sure that all of the baby and all of the placenta and everything had been delivered. If that doesn't happen and anything is left inside, she can get sepsis and die. And so this
is when your body has an infection, and the only way it can kill the infection is to dump massive amounts of antibiotics sort of into your bloodstream, and it wrecks your organs and different things. Am I correct on that?
Yeah, and sepsis untreated will kill you dead.
Yeah, and that's what Kyle Busch, a NASCAR driver from Las Vegas, died of. He had some kind of cough. It got worse and worse, and he was supposed to go to the doctor. He didn't. He was getting injections for pain, and the body realized there is so much, attack on this body. We're going to dump massive amounts of antibiotics into the body, and destroyed a lot of his organs and did kill him. I'm a little bit of an artist. Look what I made for you.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
No on 6.
No on 6.
There we go.
And so the perfect storm with question 6, all of the bad language that is in this will result in the possibility of your daughter, your granddaughter going off to middle school one day and not telling you, but going to see the school nurse and saying, "I'm pregnant." That school nurse could give her the abortion pills. Wow. And then she could go home.
The two-step of pills.
Yep. You're right.
And how old did you say how old this girl was in this fictitious thing we're talking about?
We're talking a middle school girl, so 12 years old.
12 years old. She's going to go home. The parents go out shopping. She takes the second pill. She has to, you can't flush this thing down the toilet. I mean, I guess, in the early stages, it's small, but what a horrible situation for this age of a young woman to go through by herself. Absolutely. And then, and she's 12 years old. She doesn't even know what her blood type is for sure. And she's scared. She already has a big secret. How long is she going to wait to tell mom? I need to go to the ER. Yeah.
So this is what Nevadans will be voting on.
Right.
Abortion through all 9 months for any reason or no reason. No doctor required. Unregulated, uninspected health clinics. Yes, I love it. And in the case of a young girl, no parents required.
And no doctor. Hey, I'm your dentist. Let me help you with this. Oh God!
Right. I'm your school nurse.
Wait, the dentist could give the 2 pills.
The dentist could give the 2 pills. The dentist could give a surgical abortion too, because there's nothing in this. And because it's an amendment, it's not like we can just go to the next legislature and have them fix it.
Yeah.
Because it has been voted into the Constitution, and this is what we're doing.
I'm
Brian,
going
if
on
I
record.
could, go ahead.
I'm going on
I
record right now saying, if I can help you defeat this bill, this one right here, I work full time still. I'm a musician. I'm an artist. But you keep calling, and there'll be times when I can help because I want to see this. Watch this now. Defeated. Okay.
Bingo. In fact,
go ahead.
If anybody else wants to get involved, we need so much. We need volunteers. Yeah, we need volunteers. We need everybody to understand this so you can talk to your family, friends, neighbors, business colleagues. And of course, we need money as well, because we're up against big abortion machine that threw $13 million at this last time. So please go to defeat6, S-I-X, defeat6.com. Right, defeat6.com. There you can volunteer. You can find out more about the amendment and the fight, and you can donate money. We're looking for a couple of angel investors who will help us have a world-class media fight against Planned Parenthood and all these guys. Because if you can believe it, $13 million is what they spent last time.
We're just out of time. 2 things. What else do you want to say quickly that we didn't cover? Number 2, I'm going to have you back on the show because we have till November, right? November is when this will be voted on. So I will set it up where we have you back again, give us an update. But anything else before we finish the show for today that we didn't get to or you'd like to mention?
Well, if you're a member of an organization, or even more importantly, a church, get a hold of us. We need the churches to understand because absolutely, those people sitting in the pews are at risk. And we know that the last time this was voted on, people didn't understand what they were voting on. And so we know that if you know, you'll vote no.
Right.
And so we just got to help people know.
I couldn't be more pleased to have had you on the show today, Melissa. Thank you so much. Thank you for what you're doing. Let's stop killing life. Come on. What kind of a country would do that? And fight so hard to do it. And just, I'm sorry, but I want to do one more piece of art before we end. Remember, when it comes time to vote, who are the ones who are supporting this? They have a D by their names. No.
Absolutely.
Stop voting for people who want to kill life.
100%. And if you're ever wondering who it is that will defend life when you're looking at a ballot, reach out to us. We can help you with that too, because we are in touch with those candidates and with those elected officials, and I can tell you who's good and who's not.
Good. We will have you back on the show again. Thank you for being on. Thank you for what you're doing. And the final word, of course, is
no on 6. Vote no on 6.
All right. Thank you, Melissa.
Thank you, Brian.
See you next time. Yeah.
PR Connections Radio thanks you for watching this podcast. Check out more episodes of this show and our others at prconnectionsradio.com.